Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Good for you for standing up for yourself against them, OP, and for your manager cutting them off. The sad thing is they get off on the story of it and will tell it forever and always in a way where they're the precious victims. Using the phrase feeling raped about something like that is an awful kind of despicable. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. A Karen Convention. I work at an upscale restaurant attached to a large convention center. We recently hosted a convention for a multi-level marketing women's clothing company. I've never seen so many Karens in one place, not just figuratively, but literally. It wasn't uncommon to have two actual Karens seated at one table together. This is a particularly dangerous situation as this multiplies the Karen effect exponentially. The two primary Karen drinks of choice are typically either a Cosmo or Chardonnay. It's from these potions that they derive their evil powers. Well, needless to say, the Cosmos and Chardonnay were flowing like water. The bar started to mix 4 to 6 Cosmos at once and pop multiple bottles of Chard simultaneously just to keep up with the frenzied demand. Trouble was clearly brewing. This was a recipe for disaster. As the Karens began to migrate from the bar to their respective tables for dinner service, the orders started coming into the kitchen. Naturally, everything was special ordered to accommodate their litany of dietary issues and whatever fad diets they were currently participating in. Keto, paleo, macro, vegan, take your pick. This is a trap. Special orders take extra time, are more difficult to accurately execute, and bog down the flow of the kitchen, increasing ticket times. This is exactly what the Karens want to happen. They were setting up the attack. Little did they know that we were ready and waiting for them. We called in the cavalry and manned the lines twice as deep. You could see the looks of confusion and dismay on their faces when their orders came out correctly and on time. We had neutralized the Karens. The night was drawing to an end before one particularly evil and vile table of Karens came in just before close. No doubt these were pros, not to be taken lightly. Coming from the bar, they immediately notified me, their server, upon sitting that they were very upset. Right out of the gate, they put me on defense. Inquiring as to the problem, they notified me that they were offended that the bar didn't try to upsell them from the 2 glasses of Chardonnay to a whole bottle. This was a new move. I hadn't seen this one before. Being offended because someone gave you exactly what you asked for? Brava! I was not prepared for this expert tactic. But before I could offer a solution, the Mecha Karen dropped the mother of all Karen bombs. I don't understand why the bartender didn't offer us a bottle instead. I just wanted you to know that we feel very raped. Wait, what? Very raped? Very raped? I was floored. I've seen some crapbag Karen moves before, but this was the most outrageous and disgusting I've ever encountered. That's not the term you use because you paid $12 more for your wine by ordering multiple individual glasses instead of ordering a bottle in the first place. You don't throw that word around. That's on you, Karen. Not even knowing how to respond to that and being short for words for one of the only times in my life, all I could muster was, well, that's certainly very strong verbiage. I'll give you some more time to look over the menu. I left the table and immediately went to the manager, explaining what had just transpired. I flatly told the manager that I was not comfortable waiting on a guest who was not only apparently intoxicated to some degree, but that would also use such inappropriate language so casually. Shockingly, the manager agreed. She went to the table and let them know that they were welcome to place an order for food through her, but would not be served any more alcohol at that point. They thought they were pulling the mother of all power moves, but in reality, they'd overplayed their hand and crossed the line. The Karens knew they'd been defeated. And our second story. When a Gatorade bottle attacks. This takes place around 2009, when my retail adventures began and when I was a supervisor of a small yet national bookstore company. Like the original Tron movie, the store didn't age well with our new products. When the regional manager came, she decided to talk with corporate to remodel the entire place. The kicker, we had to stay open while being remodeled. My manager at the time, we'll label him as M for now, was probably the best manager I've ever worked for. He was as chill and fun as he was hardworking. He really developed my drive for work, and we both failed to see the logic of staying open during the high parts of the remodel. You have to realize we're not just talking about replacing a few shelves or painting. We're adding an entire new section to the store for a different feature of the bookstore chain that other stores had and we didn't. We were also redoing the electrical, recarpeting, the works. Me. So do customers have to wear hard hats or something? M. Maybe if they buy them a book, we'll give them a free hard hat. This took place throughout the entire summer of 2009. Thankfully, that's our slowest time of the year, but it seems so busy during the remodel. Every now and then, I had to move into the construction zone to take care of some work, as being a supervisor I had to oversee, aka help the construction guys, with that work at times. It was normal, as they weren't really contracted, but guys who actually worked for our corporate store chain. Overall, they were pretty cool guys. M. So remember when you were cut by smooth glass? Make sure you're careful in the construction zone. I'm pretty accident prone, and when I say pretty accident prone, I'm more how the crap did that happen prone. I took his advice to heart. In fact, I took his advice so close to my heart that while in the construction zone, I tripped over an empty Gatorade bottle that one of the construction guys drank and put down. With my grace after I tripped over it, the bottle tipped to its side like a drunk Celtic dancer. I stepped on it after I tripped on it. Because Gatorade bottles are round, I then began to fall forward as the round bottles slipped under my massive foot. Knowing my fate, I attempted to grab onto the nearest table to break my fall. I felt that luck had trumped my grace, as there was a table on my left. However, my joy turned to horror. I realized it was a table saw. Thankfully, I didn't hit the saw blade as it was enclosed, but instead slapped my hand onto a piece of partially cut plywood on my way down to the ground. The board flipped up, and my fall continued. Knowing that I was doomed to faceplant the ground, I attempted to place my hands on the ground to absorb the fall. However, because I tried to grab the table, my body turned a bit, and my chest nailed the base of the table saw. I then attempted to pop up quickly as a recovery, but hit my head on the table saw as the wooden board fell on top of me. After rubbing my head in disgrace, I then arose from my epic fall. One of the construction guys asked if I was okay. I was sore but felt okay, even though a giant board fell on me and I landed on a table saw. As I began to walk, I realized I rolled my ankle on the Gatorade bottle also. Nonetheless, I actually felt just a little sore and walked off the ankle. Later in the day, I began selling as usual when a customer pointed to my chest. Customer, I think you're bleeding. I looked down and saw a massive spot of blood seeping through my undershirt and the white polo shirt I was wearing. Me, oh, check that out. The customer laughed, but it was the kind of awkward, looks like you got stabbed kind of laugh. You know the kind, I'm sure. I ran to the back room after she purchased her items and saw this massive wound on my chest. I then went to my manager. Me, casually, where's the first aid kit? M, back turned to me, working on something. What kind of question is that? You're the king of that thing. But you're right, we moved it. I'm sure it missed you. Me, yeah, you can shut up. I need one of those large bandages and probably an alcohol swab. He then turned around. M looks at my chest, then looks at my arm, which is also cut, then laughs. Did you get in a fight with a bear? Me, no, if you must know, a Gatorade bottle just beat the crap out of me. And his friend, Mr. Tablesaw. M, I never thought those two were acquainted. Me, looks like they've known each other for a while and were planning this. I then treated my wounds. It was near time for me to head out anyway, so I drove home a bit early since my shirt was all bloody. Needless to say, watch out for Gatorade bottles and table saws. And our last story. They hit my car, now they want to sue me. I live in a downtown area and have behind my house parking. Street public parking is in front of the house. You have to pull down an alleyway and park behind my house in order to park in my driveway. I came home to someone parked in that spot. It's obviously not public parking. It's behind my house right next to my doorway. Not even close to the street. I don't own the house, I rent. I contacted my landlord after waiting about an hour, hoping the owner of said vehicle would just move it. The festival's an all-day thing, and it was getting late, and I needed to move my car from pay parking a few blocks over before I incurred the all-day fee. When I'd waited an hour, I contact my landlord who's out of town. He told me to wait another hour, then call this guy he knows and have it towed. I walked to the festival and asked one of the stagehands or presenters or whatever if they can make an announcement about moving a car. I gave the license plate number and they made the announcement. Nothing. At this point, I've waited nearly 4 hours. I need to move my car into my spot. There's no street parking because of the festival. I can't park at a neighbor's because they're hosting people and have a full driveway. So I contact the tow truck. He comes and tows the truck, gives me some information. I attach a note to my car for the owner should they arrive back to see their car about how and where they can find their car. I then go inside to sleep. I wake up to the sound of someone banging on my door. It's the owner. He's angry. I give him the information, explain the situation. He blames me, the city, my landlord, every person but himself. I tell him basically, sorry, but you really shouldn't have parked in someone's driveway. I gave you 4 hours to come back to your car. You should have known something was going to happen. The house looked abandoned. I didn't know this wasn't public parking. Why don't you have signs? As he's leaving, he hits my car a few times and kicks the bumper. There's a very small dent from his kicks, but nothing major. I figure they've learned their lesson and will not park in people's driveways next time. Today, I got a notice that they were suing me in small claims court for the cost of the tow fees plus extra for the ride they had to get to the tow place. They waited 4 days to go get their car. Not my landlord, me. I'm assuming they got my information and name from the tow paperwork? So I've stated my position. They parked in an illegal spot. It's not my responsibility whatsoever for any of their fees. I made a counterclaim for fixing the dent in my bumper. I also brought with me my rental agreement, which authorizes my parking spot, and I didn't need anything else. The judge is going to have a lot of fun with this one. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.